All right, I want to update you on a story that you definitely know about, but you haven't heard about in a long time. Do you remember the Ford auto worker who called Donald Trump a blank protector, yelled at him, and Donald Trump flipped him off? Well, we have some new news about that person. And oddly enough, I think it relates to the fact that Donald Trump didn't go to the Super Bowl yesterday. See, here's the thing. Donald Trump, polling-wise right now, is a disaster. And I know how we all feel about polls, but the top polls that got him elected have really flipped on their head. For example, a CNN poll from October 2024, he was plus 11 on inflation in the economy. It's a lot of the reason he won the election. That same poll right now, he's underwater roughly 27 points. That's almost a 40-point flip for Donald Trump on the economy. Immigration and ICE, we see similar things. Most Americans saying ICE has gone too far. Most Americans saying Donald Trump isn't focused on the right issues. The country's headed in the wrong direction. And so I think Donald Trump has stopped showing his face as much recently. And this is kind of when this started. When Donald Trump wouldn't release the Epstein files. Because remember, they were on Pam Bondi's desk. They're a hoax. They're not real. Maybe they're real. What are files? Okay, we'll release them, but only some of them. Americans really started to pay attention to like, wow, this guy is a piece of shit. So let me remind you of this video right here. Donald Trump flipping off his Ford auto worker. Take a look. So Donald Trump there, you remember, audibly saying F you and flipping off a Ford auto worker who yelled, you know, you're a pedophile protector. Because it's either that, he is a pedophile, or both. Now, we just got news today as I record this Monday, February 9th, that the Ford worker who heckled Donald Trump during a visit to the company's plant still has his job, and he has no discipline on his record, a union official said. Shout out to Ford for standing up, or the union, I should say. The union, this is why unions are so important, standing up for the rights of this worker. And if you remember, MeidasTouch actually reported, asked some people on the Hill about this, what they made of this Ford worker, this blue-collar worker yelling at the president. Take a listen.
Okay, and what do you make of this Ford worker who called out the president yesterday at the plant?
I think it's poor choice of words. I guess he has a First Amendment right, but in Tennessee, we'd have a right to fire his ass.
Well, actually, you don't have a right to just fire his ass. And again, this is why unions are so important, because he was not fired and has no discipline on his record, which I think genuinely is really great. And I remind you, too, a lot of people didn't talk about this, that more than $800,000, almost $1 million, was raised for that Ford worker at a Michigan plant who allegedly criticized President Donald Trump's handling of the investigation into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The GoFundMe donation, totaling over $800,000 in less than 24 hours, came after TJ was suspended following the incident. So now he is back at work. He has nothing on his record. Two GoFundMe accounts raised more than $480,000 and $330,000, respectively. Donations have been paused as of Thursday, so this was obviously a while ago after he raised, $800,000. TJ is a patriot. That he is. TJ is absolutely a patriot, and woke is back, okay? I feel like so many of the issues we talk about on this channel, you and I screamed about for so long before the election. Now people are realizing it, realizing so much of what we said, realizing the fact that Donald Trump is a wannabe dictator, realizing that he's hyper-politicized the DOJ and the FBI and he's going after political opponents, and that, he's has ICE running around our cities, that the tariffs are going to cause inflation. Better late than never, I guess. But regardless, woke is back and the culture is back. Quote, there was a worker at that plant that day who famously told Mr. Trump exactly what he thought of him, Dickerson said. So this is from the union directly. Unfortunately, in that moment, we saw what the current president really thinks about working people, and the way he responded, he gave us the middle finger. So actually this union taking the position that this is how Donald Trump feels about working class people, because it's absolutely how Donald Trump feels about working class people. What a surprise. Donald Trump hates and doesn't relate in any way to working class people, considering, he was born and his father owned half of Manhattan, and he was born literally with a gold spoon in his mouth, and for his entire life was, frankly, shitting on gold toilets. Sorry, excuse my language there, but it's the truth. Now, I think this relates interestingly because Donald Trump, as all these polls have started to collapse, as things have started to not go his way, as he gets booed, he decided not to attend the big game. President Trump will not be attending the big game this year because his advisors told him that he would be viciously booed and there was nothing they could do to stop it. honestly, it would not surprise me if Donald Trump didn't show up to the big game because of him being booed, with the GOP tweeting, wake up, it's the day of the big game. Now, before I move forward here, I do want to remind you really quickly, if you're like, hey, who are you? Who is this guy? Clicked on the Adam Mockler channel. Remember, my name is Chris Mowrey. I now do a daily show here on the Adam Mockler channel. And if you enjoy this type of content, you can subscribe to both me and Adam Mockler right down below. It'd mean a lot if you subscribe to the Chris Mowrey show, and make sure you're subscribed here as well. You guys have been showing so much support on my channel, and it means the absolute world. I love each and every one of you so much, and I appreciate you. So let's hop back into this, because it was also recently that people are really showing how they feel about both the president and the vice president, this administration as a whole. This is a video that for some reason on Twitter, I can't imagine why, I wonder who owns Twitter, who would have an incentive to bury this video. But JD Vance got relentlessly booed at the Olympics. And, it was talked about because the video started going super viral, and then it seems like kind of like the video got buried. People couldn't find it. Let me know if you have seen this video before. People do not like this administration. Take a listen.
In an individual sport, what an honor for her.
There is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and his wife, Usha. Ooh, those are not, those are a lot of boos for him. Whistling, jeering, some applause. Not a long shot of him.
Yeah, so not enough of a boo there for the announcer to notice it. And then, because I feel like normally they'd be like, oh, they wouldn't say anything. They'd just move on, noticing, and then kind of backtracking. I think there might be some cheers there. I did not hear any cheers. It was relentless booing. And so Donald Trump was actually asked about J.D. Vance being booed at the Olympics. And he said this.
The vice president got booed during the opening ceremony. What do you make of that, Frosty?
No, I didn't see that. Is that true? Is that right?
Yeah.
It's surprising because people like him. Well, I mean, he is in a foreign country, in all fairness, but he doesn't get booed in this country.
Well, first of all, yes, he does. Second of all, is that true? Well, it's surprising people like him. No, they don't. And in all fairness, he's in a foreign country. Well, that's normally not how U.S. Presidents or just administrations overall, whether it's the vice president or president, are welcomed in other countries. The Toronto Raptors in Canada, Barack Obama showing up. Let's listen to the crowd. How does the crowd feel in Canada about Barack Obama? I'm not sure that there's a single boo that I heard in that arena. Everybody standing ovation. And that actually makes me really happy. I remember, I was born in 2002, which means I was pretty young when Barack Obama was inaugurated. But I remember looking up and seeing a guy who I understood innately was somebody who cared, somebody who was intelligent, empathetic, somebody I should look up to, a family man. And sometimes I'll listen, actually, on my own at night. I'll listen to Barack Obama's victory speech from 2008. I don't remember that version of the United States of America. It's never really been a thing for me. I was so young, and then immediately when I am kind of coming of age, there's Donald Trump starts to get waves in the political world. The political division explodes. I lose my senior year of high school due to COVID. I watched January 6th, and now I'm here. So that's a lot of why I'm passionate about what I do. I want to know what this version of America was like back in the day. I do want to point out also that people saying Donald Trump wouldn't attend the big game, again, because he was going to be booed mercilessly, but also that actually in San Francisco, there was this being played on a projection near the game as people were walking in. I can't play the audio here, but calling it the pedo bowl. Epstein Files leaders Donald J. Trump with 5,300 mentions Elon Musk. It goes on and on to talk about all these big figures. And I'm not sure who set this up, but I really want to know because it's really, really, really well done. Steve Bannon, everybody has, the football uniforms on, and basically spreading awareness about this. Maybe another reason Donald Trump doesn't want to come to the game. You know who was at the game, though, was Gavin Newsom. Do you want to point that out? Because Gavin Newsom seems comfortable enough to show his face. And Donald Trump, the last time he went to a game, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was a Washington Commanders game. The audience at the Commanders game, the fans there, gave him a really, really, really warm welcome, remember? I mean, an absolutely brutal sound there from the crowd. I bet whoever was on Fox watching that live was like, oh no, gonna have to explain how all these boos were actually cheers. Because all we do is lie all the goddamn time. Well, listen, let me know what you think of all this. Not just this, but the story that I talked about in the beginning. I'm so glad to hear that this Ford auto worker is back at his job. Truly makes me so happy. Again, if you appreciate this video, it would mean a lot if you hit like and subscribe, and make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel right down below. My name is Chris Mowrey. I do a daily show here on the Adam Mockler channel. I love each and every one of you. Have a good start to your week, and I will see you tomorrow.